Hey, we are back with another episode of Go FUD Yourself. Kiara's typing away like a crazy person. But it's an exciting Tuesday in crypto land. And we've got you covered, of course, with
there's some stuff going on.
Some Degen news today. Yeah. So what are we talking about?
Well, technically, SBF trial starts tomorrow and jury's getting picked today. So 60 Minutes ran a show last night based on Michael Lewis' new book. And he dives into SBF, and it is not being received well by the crypto community. And then we're talking about some other stuff that the crypto community hates, such as the fake Satoshi Nakamoto and Friend Tech, which splits the crypto community right down the middle. So that's exciting. And then we've got a couple of updates about things that are going on in the Cosmos, because it is Cosmos first right now. And I believe that they are on their second day, wrapping up their second day as we speak. And if there's time, we're going to talk about AI and how it might continue to impact crypto.
Oh, AI.
Oh, AI.
Are you trying to raise money or something? Because all you want to do is talk about AI.
Yeah, it's
AI
my favorite
this,
topic.
AI that.
Yeah, once a day, we give them a little plug.
Yeah, keep
for our robot overlords deserve our attention.
Yeah. Okay, just a reminder, we're a live show Monday to Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We're on all the major platforms, so please help us spread the word. Like, share, subscribe, do all that shit. Quick shout out today to Ava Labs, the foundation behind Avalanche, for the merch. It's got a nice little snowboard guy in the back, but it's awkward to try to show you, so we won't. But yeah, super stoked to be wearing the Avalanche merch today. All right, I guess we can play our fancy little video.
Yeah, let's go.
And we will get freaking going. Let's do it. So just a quick thought. If we ever decide to tattoo you like the video, like we see in the video, I can actually draw that. Like if you want to replicate what's on there, I can draw that. And I can tattoo it on you.
Yeah, probably.
Just saying.
I mean, how hard can it be?
It can't be that hard. I mean, you just dip the needle in some stuff and color it.
Just go for it. Yeah.
All right. Let's start with Michael Lewis.
Michael Lewis. Did you watch The Big Short?
Yeah. I mean,
I actually just watched it like the other day. I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth noting Michael Lewis is the author.
That's where I'm going.
Not the subject of The Big Short. That was
good point.
That was Michael Berry. But Michael Lewis, the author, had met with SBF over 100 times.
Oh, he got unbridled access, all hours access to SBF. Yeah. I watched the beginning of the 60 Minutes show because I had to know.
I didn't see any of the 60 Minutes show, but I mean, again, we know this.
Hold on. In the intro to the 60 Minutes show, the guy who's introducing the whole topic, so not Michael Lewis himself, is talking about SBF and says, his sector, as ungoverned as his hair. And that was my favorite part of 60 Minutes.
Cringe.
All right. But Michael Lewis has.
I do want to read the book because I think, and this is kind of contrary to the prevailing social norms now, but you're actually way better. Wow, those banners look good. You're way better off to even if you're learning about a completely opposing opinion, one that you know that you're never going to agree with. It's good for humanity to explore these issues. It's good for you, to explore and try to at least understand the positions of the other side, so that you can be more empathetic. You can, adjust accordingly and so on. So, I mean, I think this is worth a read. Obviously,
So his new book is called Going Infinite. It comes out tomorrow when the case starts, because they also know how to make money. And people are worried that, the crypto community is worried that Michael Lewis doesn't really understand crypto, which is a little bit short-sighted considering that he does a lot of financial exposés. And they also wonder if he's going to make, obviously he's going to make money, but they wonder if he's tied up with FTX somehow.
Yeah, I think the criticism of him is actually not completely speculative. He's made some comments that in the past, now I can't speak to his current knowledge, but over the last few years, he's made some fairly annoying comments that seemed quite unfounded. And when pressed, he didn't really have solid justification, which is interesting. I would assume now that he's written a book, considering all of his previous works have been well researched and well received, that, I mean, he believes he knows what he's talking about. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's in the book, I guess, when it comes out. Also, he has been a fairly outspoken critic of the space, though. So.
Well, of course, but the crypto fiends are upset. They say that the 60 Minutes interview was too empathetic with SBF, and that they're not portraying him as a villain as they should be. And it's kind of interesting too.
If you're going to meet with anybody 100 plus times, yeah, of course you're sympathetic to that person.
You're going to stare into their eyes and ask them questions about true love. Like, yeah, that's how it works.
Unless you're being paid to meet with them, which could have happened here. Who knows? They both could have been paid to meet each other. But yeah, there's no other, like, you eventually would have to become friends to meet that many times. Like, you'd have to have some alignment in.
He's like pals of some kind.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to reading the book. I might even do the necessary and go buy it tomorrow.
Wow.
Just to read it nice and quick. But don't quote me on that. Okay. But anyways. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, the other thing that's facing a lot of backlash and has been forever. What?
I thought you were just questioning my ability to read. I can't read.
I was going to say you could read it on the plane. Satoshi Nakamoto, we all have our opinions. But one of the people who has been advocating for Mr. Right has decided that they no longer will be doing so, and they no longer believe that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. And this is a big deal. Craig Wright has been claiming to be that for a long time. He's been in court for it, that he's tried to provide all sorts of evidence, and losing a big backer could hurt his court case.
Yeah, I think this was the last person on planet Earth to support Craig Wright as being Satoshi Nakamoto, because I think everybody else knows that he's not. Or I guess you never know anything with certainty, but if you were Satoshi, this is not how you would go about proving it, most likely. No. So I mean,
also, I think whoever is Satoshi or was Satoshi didn't want people to know it was them.
Doesn't want to be known. Yeah,
it just invalidates Craig Wright completely.
The simplest solution, if you were Satoshi, would be to move some of the Genesis wallet BTC. But like, if you were Satoshi, that's what you do, to say, I'm Satoshi, I'm going to move 1.016543, whatever, some freaking random number Bitcoin. Anyways, this is kind of ridiculous. It's about time that we stopped hearing about this. It was a couple months ago that we were talking about this lawsuit, and a bunch of the nonsense in there. And
part of it is that he wants a patent on all of the technology.
Yeah, of course, because he's a patent vulture, which is strange also. But I mean, it's really common business.
So Kristen Agerhansen has said, well, first of all, they had a bunch of emails leaked. Maybe they self-leaked. I couldn't find a lot of information on that. But they said that they have found compelling evidence that Craig Wright was manipulating documents to deceive the court. So this could open up other implications for Craig Wright. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully this just goes away. I mean, I understand people's desire to try to understand or to try to know who started Bitcoin and was the father of cryptocurrency. But at this point, it's been, almost 15 years? Is that your dog in the background? Oh, poor guy. He sounds like he's really excited about something. But anyways, it's been 15 years. And if we haven't found out and the person hasn't come out, we can keep trying, but this just, to me, seems like something to fill the news cycle. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. But speaking of
filling the news cycle, how are you feeling about Friend Tech?
Oh man, I had a good transition there. Maybe next time. But yeah, so I've been somewhat of a critic of Friend Tech because it reminds me far too much of previous versions that had lots of issues. BitClout was one of them. Anyways, the revenue has been going bananas on friend tech, which is, again, kind of how these things generally go, is everything goes swimmingly at first until people start taking profits, and then it unravels pretty quickly. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But as it stands right now, they're making a pile of money. It's by far the biggest, greatest activity platform on Base. So I guess we'll have to see. I've had concerns personally about whether regulators are going to allow it. I mean, BitClout, one of the big criticisms from the SEC was that every single person was issuing an unregistered security. I don't see how that problem has been solved in any way, shape, or form here. It is better than BitClout because it uses Twitter. It's a lot better. I just structurally, I don't think it's sustainable. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of this. But they are making a lot of money, and there is a lot of activity. So this could be one of those situations where I'm wrong. Happens lots, probably more so than
That's it. You
I'm
willing
right,
to admit that?
yeah.
I know that you're not a huge fan of friend tech, as you said, and I'm kind of curious to see if people get rugged or not, because one of the big things about friend tech is that one of the founders had been part of other rug projects. So,
yeah, I'm not sure at this point it'll be a rug. I think there's too many people participating now. Like there's 30,000 ETH TVL, and they've made like 10 or 11,000 ETH revenue, which is like a lot.
Yep.
It's kind of incredible, actually. So, I mean, people will be paying attention. And even if they originally maybe planned this to be a rug, I think they're going to have to avoid it now because there's enough meaningful participants that would really try to figure out who they are and pursue that. So I don't think it's going to be a straight rug. I think it's going to either be a regulatory issue or my bigger concern that is, I think, more likely and pretty much inevitable is the economic model is not sustainable unless you have perpetual exponential growth. Now,
is that what happened to Celsius?
I could just be ignorant, and I might not. Well, Celsius is completely different, obviously, but
I know. Obviously, I'm just trying to.
I'm trying to transition. Yeah, I could be incorrect, but I don't think so. We'll see.
Okay.
See what happens.
We've got small Celsius news today.
Yeah.
Which is basically that their bankruptcy trial has started, and they are now mining Bitcoin to try to repay their customers.
Mm-hmm. So I saw the Fahrenheit team present last week on Wednesday or Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And the vast majority, it's about 156,000 miners was part of that acquisition or part of that bankruptcy acquisition.
Right.
And so they obviously, that makes them, I think, number 3 in the world in terms of Bitcoin mining operations. So it's a pretty legit operation. The person they brought in has ran many scaled mining operations. So I think they've found a bit of a path to pursue. They've got about $1 billion in liquid assets under management also.
It's decent.
That they're going to place either via venture or via DeFi and earn revenue. And as they make revenue, they're going to pay back all the creditors from Celsius. That's the plan anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think, whoa, my StreamYard is tweaking out. Yeah, so I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of activity coming out of Celsius in the next little bit. I think it's a bold approach. I think it's admirable that they're trying to make everybody whole. And there's some fairly influential parties involved, so we'll have to see. I'm a big fan of the way Fahrenheit is trying to recover the users of Celsius. So we'll see. I
think it's all good news.
It's
just kind of a creative way to make people whole that we wouldn't be able to see in other industries, which is why it's newsworthy, maybe. Yeah. So we didn't go to Cosmos first, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Cosmoverse in Turk McGurk is this week, and obviously, there's a lot of discussion again around Atom tokenomics, which would make it Atom 3.0 because Atom 2.0 already came out and was a bit of a flop. So we'll have to see how that goes.
And there's news. There's always news at conferences. They have over 1,000 confirmed people there now, is what I saw on Twitter. And so this is a good time for people on Cosmos to be making announcements about their protocols, like Babylon.
Yep, I'm just catching up to that. Go ahead.
So they have a Bitcoin staking protocol. It's just an MVP, but they are revealing it at Cosmoverse. I believe that it was revealed today at Cosmoverse. They kind of like set up the news and then did it while they were there. So I don't know, kind of exciting that you can stake Bitcoin instead of just native tokens.
Yeah, I think that will be interesting. I mean, Cosmos is kind of in an interesting position right now where they've been continuously building the tech through the bear. So, Cosmos Hub.
Cosmos is huge right now.
Yeah, a lot of the zones are growing and so on. And so I think people maybe have been sleeping on Cosmos a little bit, but they've got some kinks they have to iron out to make it investable. And I think that's what they're trying to do. I mean,
one of the ways they're going to do that is running a hackathon at Harvard with a 40K prize pool.
Yeah, I mean, there's many ways.
It's one way they're doing it.
Yeah, to drum up excitement. Yeah, I think Babylon's going to be cool. I think there's some really cool projects coming out in Cosmos. I just hope they can get their economics and stuff figured out, because that's, unfortunately, the tech is overshadowed by narrative around whether you can invest in the projects or the ecosystem. And right now it's kind of tough. So.
There are big names on this though as well. They've been working with Certic and VeChain and Chainlink. They're going to have data streams, all kinds of things. So I think this is a pretty big move for Babylon, and we'll keep them pretty relevant. Exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to move on to the Atom token, I was just going to say, like, I think there's a lot of kind of budding narrative in Cosmos at the moment, specifically around liquid staking and certain types of shared security and different ways to consider restaking, which is where Babylon becomes kind of interesting with BTC staking. And if that's a shared security or restaking type opportunity, I think we'll see a lot more of that coming up soon. But yeah, I don't know. Cosmos has great technology. They just got to figure out the economic side a little bit, marketing and business, and find some cohesion. That's one of the other problems with Cosmos is, I mean, most people still to this day don't know that Terra Luna was a Cosmos zone, not its own L1. And they haven't done the best job. Easy for me to say, armchair quarterback, of course. But they haven't done the best job, I think, of creating shared momentum amongst the zones and as an ecosystem as a whole. Again, really easy for me to point that out. A lot more difficult to fix that, of course. But I think they have definitely an uphill climb. But I mean, you got to start somewhere. So
as you said, they need to figure their.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to move on to the Atom tokenomics, because as you say, they need to determine their best economic state. We're seeing a lot of different tokens and what have you be onboarded onto Cosmos, and they really need to figure out that valuation of Atom. Yeah,
I mean, Atom 1.0 was almost entirely not needed. And then because it had so much market cap and a bear market was happening, they were trying to, kind of adjust the narrative slightly and make it more interesting. So they came out with Atom 2.0, which was a slight increase. But I don't know if you remember, I was on a Spaces or something talking about it a couple of years ago. And I was just like, I just don't think it's enough. But I'm still not sure that it makes it the case for value accrual. And less likely that I was right, more likely that the market just forced their hand here. And so, we'll have to see. Hopefully they come up with something interesting. I haven't heard any specifics about Atom tokenomics V3.
I think they've been working on it. It sounds like they hoped to make announcements at Cosmoverse, but they weren't as far along as they had wanted, partly because they're doing a lot of community-driven work. So almost everything is getting voted on. They want people who are actually using and invested in Atom to be happy and not dump. And so they have, they have a university working on it. They have companies working on it, but then everything goes to vote as well.
I hope they figure it out, because it's great technology, but I mean, this is a big gap in adoption, I think, and developer activity. There's a lot of developers on Cosmos. It's just very few of the zones have gotten to meaningful critical mass of liquidity and users. So we'll see. See how it shakes out. Yeah.
And then, just to kind of wrap up, AI is costing more than people expected in a variety of ways. I think that this was originally a big deal for crypto as well. People didn't realize how not sustainable it was and how much actually went into it. You know what I mean? And they didn't understand the sheer operation power that it took. So now people are starting to say, well, if we're using AI trading bots and if we have AI built into our chain, how much is that actually going to cost us? Is it going to be an issue for security? Is it going to aid or abet interoperability? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, just scratching the surface of how we're going to have to start looking at AI's impact on society. I'm slightly biased here, but I think there's just so much unknown at the moment. Can AI have incredible positive impacts on finance, on blockchain, on trading, on people's wealth accumulation? Absolutely. But does that come with incredible risks that we just don't understand, incredible costs that we just don't understand? Absolutely. I think that's, anytime there's an emerging transformational technology, you're going to go, oh crap, I didn't think this would, be a natural evolution of the technology. So we'll have to see. I think, it has the potential, depending on how much decision-making capability you give it, to really go bananas with costs and stuff if you don't manage the parameters of what it can and can't do and what it's supposed to and not supposed to do. If you can't manage that closely, I think there's just going to be a lot of surprises. And I mean, managing these large language models, like where are you getting the model from? Are we using an open source model, a closed source model, our own model? Are we using cloud for compute? Are we using cloud for storage? Are we using bare metal for all of that? Are we using a third party, a vendor? Like, those costs can become extraordinarily high. As an example, any new AI company right now that's is raising multiple billions of dollars in their early rounds. And over $1 billion of that, in the last 2 or 3 cases that I've looked at, have gone directly to hardware. So $1 billion in chips and servers, essentially, just to get an AI startup meaningfully positioned. So not that a blockchain using AI is going to need that kind of setup, but obviously there's a lot of considerations that I don't think we understand. So I mean, it's good that we're starting to talk about this. I think, again, once we get crypto out of the
regulatory
for regulation in Congress, I think AI, hopefully under someone a little bit more committed and intelligent than Kamala, but hopefully the AI discussion continues. And I think that'll be the prevailing narrative as soon as crypto is managed here from a regulatory perspective. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, as with anything, take this with a grain of salt. We really don't understand yet what the limitations and capacity of AI is going to be. And it's going to evolve. Obviously, we'll think we have it understood, and then somebody will come out with a more powerful model. So yeah, just, I guess, be prudent. Don't trust AI too much.
Do your own research.
Do some research, yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and currently, like, another interesting thing will be liability, AI liability. Because are they an agent of the company that they're being leased by? Are they not? Do they have any responsibility for the answers or suggestions they give you? I mean, from an insurance perspective, the companies are going to hope no. From a consumer perspective, I mean, if the AI tells you to do something, you do it, and it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was an error, then, I mean, this is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of litigation around this. I would say, unless you're meaningfully educated on this, just take it with a grain of salt.
On the topic of DYOR, we do have a couple people coming in from Twitch today asking for financial advice. And I just thought I would verbally throw it out there that we don't offer financial advice. Legally, we can't, and we really don't want to. You should probably counter trade us, if anything. And we are more here for the news, the crypto news, to help with that DYOR daily.
Yeah, Suzanne, it's not a recording. It's a live show, as you can tell, because we're responding to your questions live. But yeah, I mean, we're not here to give individual advice. We can't, actually. We don't know you. We don't know anything about your situation. We're not licensed investment advisors. Honestly, we're just here talking about the news, giving our opinions on, the major happenings globally of blockchain technology specifically, and occasionally cryptocurrencies and their impact, regulation, and so on. And so that's kind of the focus here, is just to keep people abreast of what's going on, hopefully dispel some myths, and
put on our critical thinking caps.
Yeah, just try to have meaningful discussions. Often Kiara and I disagree on things, and so it's nice often for us to air those disagreements, and people
have the discourse.
Form their own conclusions. So hopefully we'll see you more often. We're on Twitch every day, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a live show Monday to Friday.
And Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and anywhere I can put us, Spotify, so on and so forth.
Everywhere. We're all over the place. So make sure you
escape.
subscribe and like and share, click on the bell and all that crazy stuff, so that you get notifications and you don't miss the show. With that, I say to you, go find yourself.
Go find yourself.